use the
Welcome to the acclaimed podcast, The Deep Dive, featuring your esteemed hosts, Andy Monitor and Drew Dinzik, powered by BetSperts.
You there? Not dead. Where'd Drew go? Can someone has to let me know if they can hear me? It was weird when it started. Like the video froze up for me for a second there. I'm still here. I got the taste of the Caribbean. I believe um, it's a Bahamian word for Pilsner. I believe it's called a Yingling. I got these in Florida at a Publix. They let you bring some beers in the boat to have in your own. Oldest beer in America, yeah. Pottsville, PA, guys. Don't know what happened to Drew. I was going to keep this tight. So far, so good. With him completely missing. I don't even have my ratings up. Give me a second here. Super unprepared. Just came from the beach. Oh, I got a lot of stuff open here, so I'll give him a couple more minutes. You can throw some questions in if you got them. Yeah, I'm just talking beer. Don't know what happened to him. Wonder if he texted me. Drewfus, no idea what's going on. Yeah, I'm live. You left. Not sure. Yeah, I was going to say I've done a pretty good job on my face. This is when I put my head in the shot, it like kills the. I don't know what that is. It's water. It's water. It's Caribbean. Castaway Cay. It is Disney's private island. Spent the day on the beach there. Just got back. Yeah, I'm on a boat and my internet's working, and Drew is somewhere. Breakfast buffet is a 10. They have stuff from different, they have all the different stuff. Maybe I should do that tomorrow morning. I'm not sure if they have it tomorrow morning. But you could absolutely make the disgusting British slop platter with like beans and fried tomatoes and like sausage links and tri-taters. The thing that we used to make fun of them on the internet. You can make that, but they have they have good Asian breakfast stuff, a lot of fresh fruit. The watermelon. I just keep hammering watermelon in the mornings. My favorite thing to do is just eat a ton of pineapple and then just stare at my wife and like tell her, hey, I'm eating pineapple. She's like, I get it, Andy. She's like, you do this every morning. Yeah, I don't. The bacon. Actually, the bacon's crispy, so it wouldn't work. I'd have to ask for some, especially boiled. Can you boil this bacon in a Pilsner for me, please? I'm going to see if Drew texts me back. He's having some kind of wild issue. I should get timestamps ready, I guess. Doc.new. It's our first game. I am on a boat. Don't you ever forget. I think they're rounding up the last of the people. We might end up taking off from this port like while I'm doing this. Who knows? Having some kind of wild issue, Drew says. We will set up Thursday though. If I can Pull up my screen, find which games first. Should be an NFC West game. Rams, Niners. Let me make sure I have current odds for that too. 2.5. 49.5. This one was surprising because I've been okay with the Niners at times. And I thought it'd make this about on market, but I do lean Rams. Obviously, they had to get a bit of an upgrade. Puka Nacua gets hurt in every game. Yeah, if he's on a different podcast right now and he's just messing with me, I'm going to be – then he's dead to me. But, Puka Nacua gets hurt every game, but it doesn't matter because he makes amazing catches. Obviously, had to upgrade their offensive line, had to upgrade their special teams. That was, if you remember, that was the special teams unit. We had this like a 0 preseason, and we were mad because they retained all the coaches. But everything kind of gets upgraded, and suddenly, I was going to say, I just put out power ratings today. They are my 8th best team behind Green Bay, ahead of Seattle. The Niners not too far behind them. Hey, I didn't know. I just started on Thursday night.
Great. No freaking clue what happened. This is the second time StreamYard has nuked me in this week. I don't know what's going on.
I just assumed it was me because I'm like, oh.
No, like as soon as we went live, StreamYard just absolutely dumped me. And then my whole computer froze and I had to reboot. Anyway, not bad.
Welcome
to
remember the
Deep
Wayne's
Dive?
World?
Andy's
remember the
on
Wayne's
vacation.
World bit? Yeah. Remember the Wayne's World bit where that I didn't get during Halloween where it's like, hey, did you see Deliverance? Yeah, good film. We might have to do that with these games to get it done in time. I forgot we're at the point. There's no buys. There's a full 16-game slate. And I've got dates. I've got a date with the wife. So who are you betting Thursday?
Betting the Rams. Didn't think I was going to see a 3. I was being patient to see if we got here. We did. I'm guessing this is because there's some inside information about maybe Nick Bosa going, maybe Trent Williams going, which is driving this number into the 3 range. But Rams for me, I think the Rams are for real. And I think there are still some questions about the Niners. And I would say that there's questions in my mind, at least, that Brock Purdy is going to be 100% physically good to go after those hard hits he took late in that Bears game on a short week. So Rams are, I think, the side here. And +3 is a gift. So I'll take it.
I'm with Patrick too. I don't understand the Niners' love. The Trent Williams, Bosa, and even Isaac Guerrero news doesn't seem good at all. It doesn't like.
Well, I'm guessing that there's got to be some insider buzz that Bosa's going to go. Got to be.
That's one, but if you have Williams out, this has been a good pass rush, and it's kind of the wrong kind of pass rush against Purdy if he's kind of banged up. So yeah, I'm going to bet some Rams some way or another. It's a secondary I haven't been able to trust as much either, too. So it might be a Rams. The team totals are going to be kind of high, but Rams are going to be under 24. Bosa out there hurt. Williams out there hurt. Guerrero doesn't seem like he's coming back for a while. They might be down to their 4th or 5th. Like people they're picking up off practice squads from other teams. Israel Akadabenda. People are like preseason guys that play, he had 40 yards in the Hall of Fame game. Good. Like those are kind of people that start for the Niners. Yeah. Taylor probably gets the nod. So all right.
We're on the same page there. My fair price is Niners -1.4. My fair total is 47. So this is Rams and under, but I like the Rams better. Moving to Sunday. First game in the rotation is Commies Saints. The Commanders are out to a robust 7.5 point favorites. At first glance, that is a holy crap. They're good enough to be warranting more than a touchdown on the road at this point. They are coming off their bye, but the story in this one is certainly the New Orleans Saints quarterback situation. Derek Carr done. This is going to be the Jake Haener show, it sounds like.
That's what I think, but
yikes.
There's rattlings of Rattler, which the way I looked at it,
might as well.
Don't know that it matters.
Don't think it matters, especially because there's no good wide receivers, and obviously they're missing their most important player in Taysom Hill. So Saints are a clear and obvious pass. I can't lay 7.5 points with Washington on the road, but I get why this number is as high as it is. I kind of lean under here. This could be the sort of game where Washington can get it done ugly. 24-3 kind of a game. That's a big number for Jake Haener. 43.5 there. So keep an eye on that one. Dolphins, Texans. Interesting game here where you have Texans as 3-point favorites coming off of their bye. Dolphins coming into this game after a very unresounding victory over the New York Jets. Expecting that there could be a bit of a, kind of just in general, a scheme improvement from the Texans with the extra time to prepare and do a little bit of self-evaluation. At least that's what the market thinks. No other reason to put them as 3-point favorites here. There is certainly some history here of DeMeco Ryans having solved Mike McDaniel's scheme when he was the D coordinator for the Niners. And yes, this is an important game for the Dolphins if they have any hopes of stealing a playoff spot. But I think the Texans realistically are the rightful favorites here at 3. Not interested in laying 3. Where's your head at?
Yeah, my number says Texans, and I don't love that.
Oh, it does.
I've watched some
It says
Texans
lay. It says lay 3.
Yeah, not by much, not nearly enough of an edge to consider it. But I was surprised because I felt like I downgraded their offensive line enough. Maybe I need to look at that again. It's been bad. It has been a bad offensive line, and we're getting to the point where I think I need to start doing some different things with my numbers because I use preseason priors plus what I have. And then you get to a part where you're using some priors and then what you have from this year. And there's a certain point where you get rid of your priors and you just start using this season's numbers. But I feel like I need to almost start upweighting short term a little bit more.
Of course.
And
I would keep prior weight in there too. I wouldn't completely throw that out.
Yeah. So I'm saying I am. I just need to do more. I need to upweight the priors a little more because I don't know. I'm getting early season Houston numbers here, and it's not correct for some of the stuff I'm using.
Okay.
Because I love Miami. I think I'm higher than a lot of people on Miami, and I can't do it. I can't do it at this price either way. So probably skipping.
Yeah.
I would say I did agree with that under. That total dropped 6 points from the look ahead on the New Orleans game, but probably should be 42. That Saints offense might not do anything.
Yeah, we agree. Okay. Well, if you have an appetite for Texans, I might revisit that one then because it's a cheap 3. And honestly, there's a whole swath of game state where the Texans have a decent lead in that one. And then I don't like Miami in comeback mode at all with the pass rush that the Texans have.
Yeah, kind of how you feel about the Texans defense is, if you're softer than the market, it's probably an overlook. We saw how good Tua's been for the last month. Those haven't been elite defenses, but maybe this should be 48, 48.5. Yeah, he's very good right now. Their defense
I agree with that.
If it doesn't turn into bad catch-up mode, he's fine. But if it's a back-and-forth game, he's going to get to 28, it feels like. So that's another reason I'm probably out on Houston.
Okay, so actually, you're making a good case for both kind of Houston as an overlook as well. All right, we'll come back to that. Jets-Jags is an easy and obvious pass. The Jets are out to 3.5-point favorites in some shops, although it is plus 100. There are -3s, -120s available. If you go to ProfitX, there's a -3, -108 still. I would say that the Mac Jones experience has been unpalatable. Even in victory last week, it was pretty awful to try to sit through. The Jacksonville
That's how bad that game was.
Yeah. Jacksonville's defense held the Titans to less than expected by a lot. This Jags defense has been the worst in football this season by a margin, and now maybe there are some things that are improving, but you saw the Jets offense have their best performance of the season last week against Miami. A lot of buzz that's due to Olaf Fashanu taking over from Smith and kind of helping anchor some of the protection issues on Rodgers' blind side and giving Rodgers a little bit more opportunity to just play quarterback. That's kind of interesting to me, and I guess it's worth watching in this game because then the Jets become an interesting, fun live bet the final 3 weeks of the season. So keep an eye on the pass protection for the Jets in this one. And if you want a cheap 3, go to our friends at ProfitX.
Quick aside back to the Houston game. Sounds like Juice Scruggs is not going to go. He was okay last week. So it's just another issue I have with their front. Not that I'm jazzed about the Miami pass rush, but it's turning it into a really puzzling game for me.
Okay. Bengals Titans.
Injuries right now.
That's okay. Don't worry about it, man. They all matter, and none of them matter at this point.
Yeah.
The Bengals coming off of a short rest take on a Titans team that may have Will Levis. Again, how much does it matter is up to the eye of the beholder. Will Levis' shoulder felt good after throwing Wednesday at practice. This is the same shoulder, of course, he injured against Miami that brought in Rudolph, that kind of had him miss a couple of games earlier this year. So wouldn't necessarily trust him to do anything. Cincinnati, on the other hand, were the beneficiaries of the second consecutive just miserable death for a dog on Monday Night Football. Holy crap. Holy shit. Dallas +5 hurts a lot, and this is on the heels of Browns +5. I'm a little bit in shock. I'm just going to go ahead and stop watching Monday Night Football. Our second half play was a push, which was a small degree of respite. I was pretty sure that was
pretty pissy about that not getting there.
I was pretty sure we were going to go to overtime 2020, and then since he was going to score a touchdown, it was going to get 26-20. And then we were going to lose second half, lose the game, lose the over. I was ready for the worst of 27-20 was the second worst possible outcome. Bengals still trying hard. Certainly feels like Burrow and Chase are kind of in fuck the world mode. Let's just go score points and rack up tutties and get our let's get a triple crown for Chase. Most passing yards for Burrow, which I have some of that from the preseason. So I love this. Keep throwing, buddy. The Bengals defense is worse than we even saw against the Cowboys, I think. But that said, the Titans are useless. The Titans offensive line problems not fixed, bringing in Brian Callahan and his dad.
Turns out
a little revenge for Mr. Callahan against his former employer, Zach Taylor. I have no interest in betting this game. The market has made Bengals 5-point favorites. That's fine. I have much less of a problem seeing them as 5-point favorites against this Titans team with an injured Levis than I did last week against the Cowboys. But mostly that was because I thought the Cowboys defense was going to give you something. Do you think what do you think? Is there anything that interests you about this game? Do you think Zach Taylor's job is safe? Do you think that the Bengals defense is salvageable? What's the angle here?
I agree with the market move. I was, this was 3.5 on the look ahead, 4.5 on the open. I make it 5.25. We're up at 5.5. So I guess I agree with it. I'm on market. Cincinnati's just tough to judge how these games are going to go. The offense is elite when it needs to be. They have nothing to play for, essentially. And the defense is hot garbage. But what are we getting from the Tennessee offense? Is it going to be better than what we saw last week? Because it might just be an injured quarterback or a worse quarterback with very little push up front, winning nothing in the trenches on either side. It's probably a pass game. This is not only a pass, but hope that red zone doesn't show it game.
No. I want to see lots of Bengals. Cut to the Bengals scoring a huge touchdowns. Right now, the Joe Burrow is live for the Triple Crown of passing. He has the most completions, most yards, most touchdowns. And Jamar Chase is live for the Triple Crown of receivings, having the most receptions, yards, and touchdowns. Would absolutely love it if both of those guys completed Triple Crowns and the Bengals were eliminated come week 14. That would be hilarious. All right. The one that I care the most about, obviously, is passing yards. And Burrow's got a clean 250 right now on Geno Smith. I think that's
the only worry is him getting shut down for some reason. Minor injury.
Oh, don't even speak that into existence. Don't even speak it into
These things
existence,
happen.
because you know what else that does is that opens the door for an easy cover for or an easy way into the playoffs for the Steelers, which would
I think
suck.
I'm resigned to that anyway.
That's just happening. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's so many ways it can happen. It's just happening. I gotta look at what my price was and what my stake was now on that Joe Burrow bet. All right, I'm not gonna have many winning futures from preseason. This would be like one of maybe 3. So I hope it's a big number. All right, we move on to Ravens Giants. I'm not sure if you saw this, but there was some serious market momentum today for the Rave Dogs. Yeah. Once we kind of got understanding that it is going to be Mr. Tommy DeVito, Tommy Cutlets, Tommy Giblets under center for the Ravens. Under center for the Giants. The Ravens money showed up and pushed this even higher. I honestly don't know how you can make the Giants any lower with this news. I don't know how you can get to this big of a number unless you're literally factoring in that the Giants may have a directive from up high not to compete for draft purposes. Right now, they would pick first. I think it's pretty important to them to continue to lose. For those reasons, this one is an easy one to sort of steer clear of.
I think the total's interesting. When you get a side this big, you're basically saying, like, does Baltimore run it up? Do they try to score 35 on a bad team? Is this a 38-7 kind of game? Is this a blowout? Where's that second half end up? So that's where I like to look at, like, first half, the first half total on this. I'm worried that the Giants may not contribute at all. So
let's use this time.
I make this like 12. But I haven't adjusted. I don't think I have a big adjustment from Locke to DeVito.
But I'm not betting the Giants. No fucking chance. Yeah.
I just can't, even at 15.
Let's use this time to address Sam's question. Ravens, AFC Super Bowl. I'd be lying if I said I didn't think about it. I think the Ravens, in my opinion, are pretty locked into the 3 seed right now. I know that a lot of models and sims would say the Steelers should still be considered the likely winner of the AFC North. I do not agree. If they are the 3 seed, your 3-6 matchup is probably going to be against the likes of Chargers, Broncos, Steelers, Colts. None of those games are, all of those games you're going to be more than 7-point favorite, I would assume, at home in the wild card round. So it's fine to start thinking about what next. At the Buffalo Bills, your Ravens are going to be 2.5 3-point dogs. Would you agree? You want to say 3?
Yeah. 2.5.
And then if they are at KC for an AFC championship game, Ravens closer to a pick 'em. Agree?
Yeah, I can get down with that. I'm trying to find it.
So,
I put a future in on the Ravens a week ago.
Oh, did you? What number did you get?
It was like 12 for Super Bowl.
Really? Okay, so let's just say
I'm not going to be able to log in and find this bad.
So your rollover is going to be something like minus. We'll say minus for ease of computation. We'll say minus 400 in the wild card round for the Ravens. We'll say plus 125, or more like plus 130. Plus 130 in the
divisional round.
In the divisional round. Thank you. I couldn't remember what it was called. And then plus 100 in the AFC Championship. Does that seem reasonable?
Yeah.
Okay. So that's
950.
Yeah.
So even at a pick 'em in the Super Bowl, you're getting like 16, 17 to 1.
Yeah. Market
Roller's
price.
better, but
Roller's going to be better because I don't think you're going to do. I don't think you're not going to get the benefit of surprise. You beat the Bills and someone else took out the Chiefs. Now you host the AFC title game against somebody who sucks. Right?
Where the rollover fails. Yeah, the rollover fails when there's too many upsets, and the AFC is just too tough for that. And it lets
right
you
now, the AFC price for The Ravens is plus 450. Okay, so that's not even close. So the rollover is much better there.
Yeah.
And then your Super Bowl price for the Ravens is plus 978. So I would not say that that's something you could endorse.
What do you think of this trade before we move to the next game?
Jeez. I will qualify this with every time I've been asked for survivor advice, I've given the wrong answer and cost somebody their season. So take that with a grain of salt, but it's probably the Cardinals.
I was going to say Cardinals.
I would steer clear of the
Patriots
divisional matchup.
Patriots are just very bad.
Yeah, we'll get to that market in a second. Next up is Chiefs Browns. Speaking of the Chiefs, one of the reasons I think pick is probably the price you're going to get in that AFC Championship game in Arrowhead is that the market right now just has no respect for Kansas City. And how and why should they? This team has beaten divisional opponents who they were meaningfully favored over 19-7, 2 weeks in a row. Didn't have that on my bingo card this year, that there would be back-to-back 19-17 wins for the Chiefs, but here we are. Maybe they are getting bored with finding weird ways to win games, and it's like, let's just see if we can win 19-17 every week and just make people's heads explode. So with that in mind, the obvious bet is Browns +4 because this is going to be a 2-point victory somehow. Also funny because there were notable moments in gambling Twitter this year where we had a good old hearty laugh at somebody talking about 2 being a key number. and sure enough, 2 weeks in a row, Chiefs win by 2. Neither of them was, neither more.
I don't think selling down to or buying down to the 2 from the 4 is a common move, even with the miscreants of the world. My numbers make it 6, same as last week.
Okay.
I want to bet the Chiefs. I might just do it again. I might just
keep
slamming it in the door.
Martingale, that time.
I think the issues for me would be DJ Humphries getting signed and playing tackle. That was not an upgrade. That didn't help at all.
No.
The tackle play is still bad, and Garrett exists. And then, the KC secondary versus the Yolo ball. So probably I just stay home.
Yeah. Okay. I don't disagree with that. But having lost money on the Chiefs last week, but being made whole by them kicking that field goal, which doinked in so that they got the second half over home, felt like a gift. Also, did you see the note? Did you see the note that the Chiefs have now had game-winning field goals kicked by 3 different kickers this year?
Done 2.
No one have 3.
So it's game-winning kicks with time running out.
With time running out, yeah.
No one's ever even done it with 2 different kickers.
They have done it with 3. Also worth noting that Pat Mahomes is not having a good year statistically, but he is on pace to set a record, Andy. 4th quarter game-winning drives. He is up to 7. 7 game-winning drives for Mr. Mahomes. In the last 4 games, if he gets 2 more, he will be the only man ever to lead 9. I think Kirk Cousins, you remember Kirk Cousins had 8 in that obscenely stupid year for the Vikings 2 years ago?
That was only a couple of years ago. So,
yeah.
All right, I'm staying away from this one.
Okay, Cowboys Panthers. I don't know if you've looked at this market or you looked at these numbers. I'm just going to ask you to guess. What's the side, Andy? I mean, guess what the number is.
Oh, this was like.
Do you have it up in front of you? Don't look at it.
No.
Oh, you know. You already
I looked at it previously when I filled it in. I'm like, but I look at my numbers first when I make my raw numbers, and I'm like, oh, I'm going to have Carolina favored here. And then I pulled the market in. I'm like, I don't feel as bad now, but it's been a while. It's been
I'm going to have Carolina favored. And you look at the market, like, not by 3. Like, wow. Now, somebody did take the boys' 3s. It's come down to 2.5, although it's still 3 at Bookmaker. People are believing the Panthers are real, that this Bryce Young thing is real. Bryce Young is going to be going up against his most sincere test in terms of pass rush this week, although there is no Marvion Overshawn. I don't know if I'm even saying his first name right. It's a weird one. Overshawn is not going to be playing, and I sound like that knee injury was bad because Jerry Jones wouldn't even comment if he would be back for 2025. And I was like,
I think
huh?
it was, it was
Like, we really,
multiple
you might,
yeah. It's a bad one, and he matters in all facets. He
oh, he's like the only
he's
guy
not
that was playing with any kind of spunk at all in that defense. Yeah.
he's not just a pure pass rusher. He can cover. He can stop the run. He matters. I make this Carolina 1.5. I did not think we'd see a 3. That's something.
Yeah. Cowboys are passing. I think that means pretty obviously pass. Although, god damn it, am I tempted to take over 43? I feel like this Panthers team is still an over. I don't understand how the Panthers defense has been playing up recently, if we're being honest.
I don't think they're actually good. So I'm kind of in the same boat too, especially with Overshown being your main injury. Martin's out for the year as well in their offensive line, but the Cowboys' offense probably underperformed.
Terrible tackling too.
For them, short week for them, but I'm with you there. I like that over.
Okay. Don't know if we're going to see a CeeDee Lamb. At some point, he's going to get shut down. You would assume. Wow. We found new rock bottom for Jerry Jones' Cowboys this year. Your dog's to the fucking Panthers by a field goal. Amazing. What was the preseason look at, you think?
It had to be 10. Do you remember
I'll tell you.
Oh, no, they're on the road. Never mind.
6.5.
Do you remember the first 2 games the Saints played? It was over these 2 teams.
Wow.
I remember thinking going into that second week, I'm like, well, this isn't Carolina. This is Dallas. And then obviously the Saints. That's a whole weird other saga. We'll move on.
I was going to mention one thing. This is the second time we've brought up Cowboys look aheads being just hilariously off preseason.
Yeah.
The other one was versus Washington. We were like, God, can you imagine if you were just like, fuck it, I'll just take Washington plus 3.5 or plus 4. Maybe something will happen. And then they closed 6.5, 7, something like that. And then you lost your original bet.
Don't cover.
It didn't even cover your original preseason of insane CLV bonfire, CLV freaking just absolute tire fire there. All right, let's move on to a game I actually have a bet on. Steelers Eagles. Someone gave me a 4 here, Andy. I took the Eagles. This came down to 4, a flat 4. Didn't understand it at the time, but happy to be on the other side of that. I bet Philly here. It's back up to 5. My fare is closer to 7. I am not at all in the kind of camp of people who are concerned about Philadelphia Eagles offense having some infighting. I am much more of the if you put me against the wall, you say, hey man, like, are there any good defenses in the NFL? Give me one. Philadelphia. Like, I don't think there are really any other good defenses. Philadelphia is. This is crazy that we're here.
Even after losing a couple of defensive linemen, it's been impressive. I make this close to 6. I agree with you. I didn't grab the 4, obviously, because I'm not watching the market very closely out here this week. But yeah, I agree with that move directionally, and it would be, Philly should probably be a touchdown favorite here at home. It just seems like the right group to finally prepare for the moon ball.
Yeah. Just out of curiosity, I'm just curious if you've been, you follow it all.
Actually, smart, like thoughtful. Thoughtful is such a weird way to describe a football player's style, but thoughtful corners who aren't going to just like turn around and see the ball landing in.
Oh no, dude! You got the umbrella closing on every one of those every one of those moon balls. Like,
Terrell,
no chance, no fucking chance.
I don't know the Pickens goes.
I am very of the belief that it's a done deal that he's not going. I think Pickens does not go. I want to just ask you this because I'm not sure how much you've been paying attention, Andy, but last like from week 8 on, like Recency. Going with your recency point of like, how do you upweight recent performance? Steelers run defense is what? Since week 8 in EPA per play allowed. You get a guess?
11th.
Try 31st. The
That's
only
amazing.
team that they're better than in stopping the run is the Carolina Panthers. They are worse than the Cincinnati Bengals. They are worse than
Cowboys.
the Dallas Cowboys. This is the worst run defense in recent weeks for some reason. And maybe they are healthier now than that is reflected in some of this sample. But boy, oh boy, can you run the ball on this team? If only there were a running back on the other side who was, I don't know, chasing something historic.
Chasing history.
Oh, wait. Oh, boy. Like, this is quietly as good or better of a matchup for Barkley as last week, because it's going to be more important for their game plan to be focused on him. Last week, I felt like Barkley kind of was given a little bit of a week off type of workload because I felt like you'd attack the Panthers through the air so effectively. If I exclude plays with turnovers over this sample, by the way, because believe it or not, the Steelers are getting a lot of their success with turnovers. It's still second worst run defense, and their pass defense then moves very close to the average. So something's wrong with this Steelers defense, and the market is not agreeing with that. And that is fine because that gives us opportunities to lay cheap prices with the Eagles, who have the third best offense in the NFL by my numbers, and I think are going to be very, very tough to stop here. Where are you at Eagles right now for offensive rank? You got a number, or is that you got them open?
Yeah, let me look. Philly is my 5th best offense.
5th best? You have them behind Buffalo?
Yeah.
And you have them behind who else?
Baltimore, Buffalo.
Baltimore and Detroit for sure.
Yeah, Baltimore, Buffalo, Detroit, and then, I mean, it's kind of a mess there between Philly, Minnie, Green Bay, and Kansas City.
Okay. I have them ahead of Buffalo, and I have a pretty clear tier break after them to that next tier led by Buffalo. So I think they're the third best offense in the NFL right now.
Yeah, my Baltimore, Detroit is like a tier, and then there's like a chunk below that, all the way down to Green Bay.
Yes, this DPOY race is going to get interesting if the Steelers poop the bed last quarter of the season. Patrick is very correct about that, and the problem is I don't like who. Right? Like it is so tough to put a fine point on who's going to ultimately be the beneficiary of this. There are people who shape these awards markets who have been buzzing that Pat Surtain is coming. I'll just say that. I don't know that I see it, but you're going to see. You'll probably, if you haven't already, you'll probably see the market start trending in that direction. If this is like we expect that the Eagles hang 30 plus. All right, moving on to Bills Linos. We'll stop here and take a deep breath as we have a lot to cover. It starts and ends with injuries. There was significant market movement in favor of Buffalo earlier in the week, and I felt like that was injury speculation.
Yeah.
It was a lot of people thinking, oh, we're going to get bad news about the Linos D, and we're going to get good news about the Buffalo everything, so let's bet some Buffalo now.
Yeah.
Came back a little bit today, as I think the Lions injuries are trending more positively. I'd just say for the purpose, we have practice news for the Bills. Coleman, full. Cooper, full. Samuel, full. But I just listed 3 wide receivers who are all banged up. Dalton Kincaid full, Milano full, Rasul Douglas DNP, DeMar Hamlin was a full, Taylor Rapp DNP. So this is basically saying that you're going to have effectively a full strength Bills offense. The Linos D, I have no inside information. I'm just trying to parse my Dan Campbellese here. I think DJ Reader's going to go. I think Alan McNeil's going to go. I think Josh Pascal's going to go. And that's it. Carlton Davis as well. Sorry, I don't know if he was questionable or not. So
He
I
is
think
every week.
I think there's going to be more healthy bodies on defense for the Lions than we saw finish the game against the Packers, which makes this an interesting game in a couple ways. Buffalo Bills defense, I think, is bad right now.
Especially coverage.
Coverage is bad. Especially, it's not like Russell Douglas and Taylor Rapp have been covering them, or Damar Hamlin have been covering themselves in glory this year. But the fact that those guys are all banged up is not good. I think that long matriculating drives for the Linos is reasonable expectation here, which makes me keen on an under 54 and a half.
That's how it stays under. It's like long drives by Detroit where, we shat on the secondary, but you could run on them too. This is not a great defense. Even with Milano back, they have a lot to sort out. Yeah, if Detroit plays clock control, you end up in the 40s. Still should be a good game, but I just don't think we see the quick strike stuff like you saw constantly in the Rams-Bills game, which was awesome. And we didn't do a recap one this week too, but I should point out I was super proud of McVay. If we're going to shit on Jonathan Gannon for going up 6, kicking the field goal to go up 6, we should give McVay flowers for not. Because I feel like, a lot of coaches do that. Where they say, 6, let's take the points and go up by 6, where that kind of won them the game. So a guy that we've dogged on a little for many, many years kind of did us proud, especially if you had any sort of Rams money.
I will agree with you, but I will also qualify it with I don't think he had a lot of confidence in his kicker.
It helps.
Right?
I know that's the joke whenever a kicker gets hurt. All right, this guy's finally going to get aggressive.
Yes. Finally going to go for it when he needs to. He had that vibe. And honestly, after they scored the touchdown, the extra point attempt was hilariously poor. So I think McVay had a good read that his kicker was not going to make that kick. And then you're giving them the ball at the same field position anyway. I think ultimately it was a long kick. Yeah. So, yeah.
What's your fair here?
Detroit by 1.3. My fair total is 53. So if I had to have a bet in the game, I'm taking the under.
I thought I'd love Buffalo here, but I can't quite get to this number. I lead Detroit. I might bet Detroit. I talked big game going the other way, but
love this question from Michael Kitchen. Does Dan Campbell need to go 3-1 last 4 games in coach year, or 2-2 do it? I worry that 3-1 might not do it. I think there is such a crowded market right now at the top. There are 5 really good candidates. Whoever finishes 4-0, I think, is probably your winner.
Well, and
2-2 is definitely not going to do it.
I don't know the scenarios. I feel like Minnesota's both of their losses were NFCs. Those were Rams and Lions. So I don't know how the tiebreaker would work. But if Minnesota wins out and that 3-1 is losing to Minnesota and they lose the division and are the 5 seed, then 3-1 definitely doesn't do it.
The other loss for the Lions would be the Bucks.
Yeah. Just conference. I don't know. We'll have to look at tiebreakers.
That comes down to a deep tiebreaker.
Because both teams would be 5-1 in division. Both teams would be, 10-2 in conference.
15-2, 5-1, 10-2. Yeah.
It'd come to strength of opponent.
Oh, yuck! Lions win that.
Maybe.
Ugh.
I think it's close.
Yeah, it's Lions. I think. Okay. Well,
it'd be funny if KOC sniped the award and the 1 seed because the Vikings aren't supposed to be good this year.
KOC can snipe it. Tomlin's not going to, but he could, I guess, if he wins these games. The Quinn can still get it. Who else is live? Who am I forgetting about? I'm forgetting about.
All right, let's move. I got 15 more.
Okay. Colts Broncos. First and favorite bet of the week for me was Colts. The reasons why include healthy offensive line, healthy wide receivers, no Riley Moss, time to reflect and continue to develop Anthony Richardson, and Gus Bradley's man coverage heavy defense perplexing Bo Nix. I think the Colts win this game outright.
I was going to say I'm going to split and take some outright as well. My numbers might disagree with this slightly, but it's just
McDonald is live probably. Yeah.
two teams off the bye, and I mean 2 coaches I respect as well. But we saw what the no Riley Moss looks like, and you have it's a different kind of offense now. They're not so dependent on the deep ball, but it feels like they're going to hit some deep balls against the secondary, and the guys are just going to be. You're going to see the shot, and there's going to be no Denver Broncos in the shot when the guy catches the ball.
Hopefully, Levi Wallace still getting some run for the Broncos here. This actually, Sean Payton's Coach of the Year case ends with a Broncos loss, and their playoff hopes are on very thin ice if they lose this game, which is interesting.
Especially this is their main. This is their main threat.
Yes, this is their number one. This game will decide a tiebreak probably for the 7th seed. The way that the rest of the schedule sequencing works out, this is probably the one. All right, shall we move on? Tampa Bay Buccaneers Chargers. This market is Chargers -3. Our total sits at 45.5. I didn't get a good sense that Herbert is like perfectly healthy right now. He is still dealing with leg and ankle contusion. And he just in general has no one to throw the ball to who can create separation, despite the fact that the Bucs will be without their most important secondary piece in Antoine Winfield. I think the Chargers probably win this game, but I don't have much conviction in that. And if this comes off the 3, I'm not going to be surprised.
I think it does come off 3, and I think I'll be the buyback if.
Okay, you want Chargers 2.5?
If I'm feeling frisky about McConkey,
yeah,
Disley seemed bad. They've already ruled out Jalen Reagor. Oh no, he's not. Not
Jalen Reagor.
I know. If I can get the combo of 2.5, and I'm feeling good about McConkey, it's a bet. And it might even cheap 3. It's 3 plus 100. Take that too.
Okay. Pats Cards. Patriots are coming off their bye. Presumably, you get their. Okay, Patriots are coming off their bye. Either people have forgotten that they suck, or people are expecting some major improvement because you have again, first year coach, first year quarterback, and an extra week to kind of do some self evaluation, figure out what you're good at, figure out where you need to improve, work on it. I don't know that matters. Because you're up against a team that's much better than you and the Cardinals. This number came down pretty aggressively in favor of New England. And my first thought was like, wow, people took the wrong lesson away from that Seattle-Arizona game. And they have like downgraded Arizona to like a -2 when the real like takeaway is Seattle should be like a +2 and Arizona is still like a 0. New England's defense is not good. New England's offense is still very, very susceptible to even the weakest of pass rushes. I have surprising numbers on how good this Arizona drop back defense is. I don't even know that you could guess this, Andy, but excluding plays with turnovers since week 8, Arizona's pass defense is what in the NFL?
I want to tell you what I make them because I feel like I've upgraded them quite a bit. Like this was bottom. Now I'm close to like 20th.
Mm-hmm. Well, in EPA per play allowed since week 8, this pass defense is first in the NFL. I don't know how that's possible, but they are.
I'm going to have to look at DVOA splits. That's wrong.
Geno Smith twice. I mean, it's not. They haven't even been getting by going against the dregs here. They played Sam Darnold and Geno Smith twice, but they're very, very just competent. And Yeah, I don't think Drake May is showing up to the tune of covering this big of a number on the road here. Sorry. I think the kind of reverse correction today was correct, and that if as long as this is under 6, this is Cardinals.
I'll make it 8. Yeah, I didn't understand.
You're at 8? Okay.
Yeah.
It's a big
8 and a
number, but
quarter.
yeah, I'm not.
8 and a quarter, actually.
I'm 8 1/4. Wow.
I mean,
okay,
so
so you're very low on New England then.
I'm not giving them like some huge bump for coming off the bye either. It's not like, oh, they just had to get healthy and organized because they have this great leader of men. Mayo sucks. So yeah, I'm laying with Arizona.
Okay. All right. Packers Seahawks, the aforementioned Seahawks.
Good one.
This one's coming off the 3 at long last. Our friends at Profit Exchange now have Packers as -2.5, -105. I bet Seattle +3. I'm very happy to see this trending in the direction of a closer matchup. If this ends up like -2.5, -105, I don't have a huge edge anymore. I think it's fine if you want to make the Packers favorite here. I think Jordan Love is pretty clearly a top 5 quarterback playing in the NFL right now. The problem is Geno Smith is a top 10 quarterback playing in the NFL right now. And Seattle's defense, like, again, kind of going back to my conversation about is any defense good? Seattle might be. That passes the eye test on top of them being healthy. So this is a very, very cool test for the Seattle defense.
Yeah, and I think I'm willing to pay to prove it to me again, because I think they can.
Oh, you mean you think this is an over?
No, I'm thinking like Seattle straight up. I make Green Bay like I make Green Bay like a half-point favorite here. I've upgraded Seattle a bit. It's eye test, but it's numbers too. And this is something we talked about early in the season where it's like, maybe McDonald's just going to take some time. It took till year 2, basically everywhere else. And, maybe, some of those. Yeah. Some of those
they were so aggressive with turning over that roster too. And the bye looks to have done them a solid EPA per play since week 8. Andy, you got a guess for the Seattle defense?
4th.
6th. Very good guess. They're behind the Lions, the Eagles, the Texans, the Broncos, and the Steelers, who have a good pass defense and a terrible run defense over this time window. Hopefully teams start to run on the Steelers and they realize that's the way you beat them. Anyway, the
2
+3s aren't coming back, I don't think.
No, I'm just playing them straight up.
This total at eye test looked low to me, 45.5. Abe Lucas back for right tackle for the Seahawks has been a godsend. Like, their run blocking is better, the protection is better. Like, it has really, really, really helped elevate that unit overall. I had them down in like the 15th to 20th percentile. Yeah. He's proven you wrong.
He's better
playing
than
great.
What we had.
Yeah, he's playing great.
A couple people
possible win in Seattle. I didn't see that.
A couple people are asking about McDonald. I think it's tough because of the Vikings-Lions thing. One of those teams feels like they're getting the 1 seed.
Yeah, what if Philly gets it though?
If Philly gets, obviously Sirianni's not getting coaching here.
No, I know, but he could cock block the NFC North winner.
If he cock blocks it, and Quinn, is sneaking in on the 7th seed, and Tomlin has a bad December, long December.
Here's what McDonald's.
McDonald winning the division in his first. That's a narrative too. Winning a tough division in your first year when the Rams are coming on, the Cardinals look good. It wasn't just the Niners had a down year, so you lucked out. It was a tough division. I can buy that as a late season narrative where it's like, shit, he's got this defense playing good. Geno's looking good. This is a team. This is the team. The words we need to hear from McDonald to win it. It's a team nobody wants to play in the playoffs, guys.
Well, that's just it, man. Like they're getting no respect to the market. None. 3-point dogs at home to the Packers. Here's the thing,
so many names, so
So Seattle does need to win out, and in doing that, McDonald can kill LaFleur. McDonald can kill KOC.
It's not Highlander. He doesn't have to cut their heads
No,
off.
I'm just saying, like he has a little bit of his own destiny in this, right? And then in addition to that, you need the Lions to lose to the Bills and the Niners. If the Lions lose to the Bills and the Niners, then the Eagles get the 1 seed. The Lions have 3 losses, including 2 late ones that people will remember and hold against him. And McDonald, the door is open for him. That's what you need to happen. But it's a very, very narrow path. And 18 to 1 is his current price.
It'd be a lot better if it was the Hoboken Seahawks.
Yeah, fucking Brian Dable won 9-7-1.
All right, speaking
Anyway.
of those Minnesota Vikings, there's a double-double Monday Night Football. We'll cover quick.
Why?
I don't know why.
I don't like complaining about so much football. The too much football. No, I'm not complaining about that. I just don't. These games suck. Like they gave us a weird Simpsons excuse for why they didn't flex out
Yeah.
Cowboys Bengals. Why the hell didn't they flex one of these games out? These games are terrible.
Atlanta Vegas is bad too, which is nice because you can just watch the Vikings game, I guess. I just
want to bet both dogs and watch them both lose in miserable fashion.
Minnesota wins, doesn't cover. Kind of feels like your medium outcome.
Yes, I agree with that.
It's a big number against a divisional foe, and yeah, they looked really bad last week, and the Vikings looked really good against a piss poor defense. I don't know. I need to catch up a little bit on Bears' defensive injuries before I make a proclamation here, but
Bears defense is just not good now for whatever reason. Apparently, Eberflus was actually doing some coaching, and by the way, like our reticence to get excited about the coaching change to Thomas Brown, I think, was proven out.
Yeah,
I liked it a lot better when he was coordinating the offense.
Vikings at 7.5, even 7. Fuck Wong. We're teasing everything this week.
Do you remember what happened in the first matchup between these two teams?
Yeah, went to overtime.
It went to overtime. Vikings won 30-27. A lot of points scored in that one. 17 late points by the Bears made that an interesting game. They scored with 22 seconds left. They got the onside and kicked a field goal, right?
It's like one of 3 onside kicks all year. That was a very gross push for people. I sold out to 4, so I took the loss. But you
were going to lose anyway because it was going to be a 3-point loss regardless.
Yeah.
The touchdown really hurt you.
Yeah.
At 22 seconds left, you're screaming, "Just kick the field goal!" And then
they scored. I've had a lot of those. I don't have a strong take on Atlanta Vegas either.
Yeah, I don't either. This is AOC's done for the year. Gardner Minshew's done for the year. Desmond Ritter revenge. You know what's funny? Art Smith got his revenge against the Falcons earlier this year. Now it's Desmond Ritter's turn.
Vikings got the revenge against Kirk.
Vikings, yeah. Oh man, the juju in Atlanta is bad.
It's not good. I make them like 5.5 point favorites here.
One of our friends was very convincing preseason that he was just sure that Kirk Cousins was going to have a Matt Ryan in Indianapolis kind of a year. It's feeling like it right now.
Kind of feeling that way.
It's feeling like it. The collapse and the quality of his play against the Chargers was so atrocious. And then last week it wasn't good on top of they got unlucky,
Yeah.
Falcons
plus
could
that was
lose
just
this game and we shouldn't be
that was just it was like, Sam Darnold's gonna have a good game where even when he underthrows people, like Addison's so good at coming back to the ball.
Yeah.
Everything
Falcons lose. If the Falcons surprise lose and they are 6-8, I'm assuming, and Tampa Bay wins and they're 8-6. Is it Michael Penix time?
I don't know. The contract, it's not just like you can dump Kirk. He's under contract for a couple of years. Maybe you see what you have just to feel it out so you can make a better decision next year. If that happens, it feels like there's a Kirk Cousins, I'm doing air quotes for the podcast listeners, injury, like a mild one.
Yeah.
But it's like, it's an ankle sprain. We don't want to push him. And then he saves the little face, and they get to see Penix for a couple weeks. Because, if they lose this game, the division's gone. It's done. Tampa has a fairly easy schedule, guys.
Yeah. Tampa, for them to get a playoff spot, they need to win this game and hope to hell that Tampa loses.
Yeah, I honestly think
if
that's
they finish. Yeah. Okay.
I think we do end up with a back tied again after this week, but the games after that, Tampa, I think Tampa still has the better path.
You sure?
It's not bad. They'd probably go 2-1 after that.
I'll be honest with you. I've been staring at plus 190 for the Falcons to win the South all damn day.
I haven't looked at the Falcons' schedule.
Neither team is trustworthy. Either team can lose any given week, which is maybe part of my thinking. Yeah. But if they're both 7-7,
Raiders, Giants, Commanders, Panthers. Oof. Yeah, you got to take the bigger number. They're both going to go like 3-1.
Right. Or 2-2. They both go 2-2.
If they both go 3-1, Tampa wins.
Tampa wins, right? That's true.
Tampa needs to go. So Falcons need to go 4-0 here. And
the second loss has to be. Honestly, who can play spoiler like crazy is the Panthers. Panthers are going to beat one of these teams.
Yeah, the Falcons Commanders game. That's for the division.
Yeah. Huh. What's the look ahead on that number? So I can figure out how to get the fuck out of this if I bet it. We don't have one. It's 2 weeks away. Next week is Commanders Eagles. Okay. Next week the Falcons are.
I'd make Washington like 3.
Next week the Falcons are 7.5 point favorites against the Giants, or 8.5 at some places.
They should be a field goal dog on the road in Washington.
That sounds right. Tampa is going to be 4-point chalk on the road at Dallas.
Yeah. All right,
so this actually feels a little okay. Yeah. All right, let's get out of here. This feels a little like a fun roll of the dice. And plus 190 right now for the Falcons. You can get out of this if you want. I like it. All right. Better than betting either of those. Better than betting either of those games on Monday night. Whew. P freaking you. All right, guys. Andy, enjoy the rest of your time away.
I don't know if I have a stomach to bet the Bears again.
Do you want to do a Thursday night pod, or you got other commitments tomorrow?
Let me double check on that. I might actually be out for that.
I kind of thought, you're into the part of the cruise where you guys got ballroom dancing and partying the night and all that, right?
Yeah, it's like the end of Dirty Dancing where there's the talent contest.
Talent show, right?
I've been training off-site for the Johnny Castle.
You've been carrying watermelons?
Nobody puts Andy in a corner. That's such an iconic line. Jesus, you. All right, I got to run. We'll see you guys.
All right, take it easy, man. All right, I got to find the music button. My bad. All right, take it easy for real this time. This is island music.
It's kind of island music.